What if I told you that saying I love you isn't even in the top 10 things that make a man feel truly loved? Hey, beautiful, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm about to shatter everything you thought you knew about making a man feel valued, cherished, and completely devoted to you. Because here's the brutal truth that nobody wants to admit out loud. Words are cheap. And I love you has been said by people who didn't mean it, who left anyway, who used it as a band-aid for bad behavior. Men hear those 3 words and feel nothing. Or worse, they feel pressure, obligation, expectation. But there are 12 specific things, 12 quiet, powerful actions that make a man feel so deeply connected to you that he'll move mountains just to keep you. And most women have no idea these things even matter. Have you ever noticed how you can tell a man you love him every single day, but the moment you do one small thing differently, suddenly he's looking at you like you hung the moon? That's not an accident. That's because love, real love, isn't heard, it's felt. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 12 things that matter more to men than those 3 words ever could. Things that make him feel seen, respected, desired, and absolutely certain you're the one. So if you've ever wondered why your I love yous don't seem to land the way you hoped, or if you want to create a connection so deep he can't imagine life without you, you're in the right place. Get comfy, grab something to write with, because you're about to learn what truly makes a man fall and stay in love. Let's begin. Number 1, respect his decisions even when you disagree. Let's talk about something most women completely miss. When a man makes a decision, whether it's about his career, his friendships, how he spends his Saturday, he's not just making a choice. He's expressing his judgment, his values, his sense of direction in the world. And when you respect that decision, even when you don't fully agree, you're telling him something profound. You're saying, I trust your ability to navigate life. I believe in your judgment. Men are wired to lead, to decide, to move forward with. It doesn't mean they're always right. It doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. But here's what happens when you constantly question, second guess, or undermine his choices. He starts to feel like a child being managed by a parent. He feels inadequate, small. And that feeling, it kills attraction faster than almost anything else. Think about it. When someone respects your decisions, how does it make you feel? Capable, trusted, valued. That's exactly what he feels when you honor his autonomy. You don't have to agree with everything. You don't have to stay silent when something affects you directly. But there's a massive difference between saying, I see why you chose that, even though I would have done it differently, and that was a terrible decision. Why would you do that? One response makes him feel respected. The other makes him feel judged. And men, they can handle a lot of things, but constant judgment from the woman they love, that erodes the foundation of everything. So what's the fix? Start catching yourself before you critique. Ask yourself, does this actually affect me? Or am I just uncomfortable with his way of doing things? If it's the latter, let it go. Trust his process. Respect his autonomy. When you do that, when you show him that you believe in his capability to make sound choices, he doesn't just appreciate you, he needs you. Because you become the one person in his life who doesn't make him feel like he has to prove himself. And that's irreplaceable. Number 2, give him space without making it a punishment. Here's something that confuses a lot of women. Men need space. Not because they don't love you, not because they're pulling away, but because that's how they recharge, process, and return to themselves. And when you can give him that space without guilt, without passive-aggressive comments, without making him feel like he's doing something wrong, you become the rarest kind of woman, one who understands masculine energy. Most women panic when a man withdraws. They think distance means disconnection. So they chase, they text more. They ask if everything's okay 17 times. They create tension where there was none. And all of that, it pushes him further away. Because now his need for space is being treated like a crime. But here's what really happens when you give him space gracefully. He misses you. He thinks about you. He comes back to you with more presence, more energy, more appreciation, because you didn't make his natural rhythm into a relationship crisis. Space isn't rejection. It's not a sign that he's losing interest. It's him taking care of his mental and emotional bandwidth so he can show up better for you. Men process internally. They need silence to work through stress, decisions, emotions. When you respect that, when you don't take it personally, you're showing him a level of emotional maturity that most women never reach. So the next time he's quiet, distant, or says he needs a night to himself, don't spiral, don't interrogate, don't make it about you. Just say something simple like, of course, take your time, and then go live your life. Focus on your own passions, your friends, your peace. What you'll find is this. The space you give him becomes the space where he realizes how much he values you. And when he comes back, and he'll come back more certain about you than before. Giving space without punishment isn't playing it cool. It's being secure. And security in a woman, that's the ultimate magnet. Number 3, celebrate his wins like they're your own. Men are driven by achievement, by progress, by the feeling that they're moving forward, building something, making an impact. And when the woman he loves celebrates his victories, not with obligatory praise, but with genuine excitement, it does something powerful to his heart. It makes him feel like you're on his team, like you're his biggest supporter, like his success matters to you because he matters to you. Here's the thing. A lot of women underestimate how much men need encouragement. They assume men are confident, self-sufficient, that they don't need validation. But that's not true. Men need to feel seen and appreciated for what they're working toward, especially by the woman they love. When you celebrate his promotion, his completed project, even his small daily wins, you're fueling his drive. You're telling him, I see your effort. I'm proud of you. Keep going. And it's not just about the big moments. It's about noticing when he fixes something around the house, when he handles a difficult conversation well, when he pushes through a hard workout. Those small acknowledgements, they stack up. They create a reservoir of feeling valued that he draws from every single day. But here's where women go wrong. They celebrate with conditions. They downplay his excitement because they're stressed about something else. They respond with, that's great, but, and then pivot to a problem. Don't do that. When he shares a win, stop what you're doing, look at him, smile, let him feel your pride. Say something like, that's incredible. I'm so proud of you. Tell me everything. Let him bask in it. Let him feel you're genuine for his success. Because when you do that, you become his safe place to be excited, his refuge from a world that's constantly demanding more from him. Men don't just want a partner. They want a teammate, someone who's genuinely thrilled when they win. And when you become that person, he doesn't just love you. He protects what you've built together with everything he has. Number 4, touch him in passing for no reason at all. Let's talk about something that seems small but carries massive weight. Non-sexual touch. The kind of touch that has no agenda, no expectation, just connection. When you walk past him and run your hand across his shoulders. When you sit next to him and rest your head on his arm. When you touch his face for no reason other than you wanted to. That touch, it speaks a language that words never could. Men are starved for affection that isn't transactional. Most of the time, touch in a relationship is either leading somewhere or it's functional. But that soft, spontaneous, affectionate touch, it makes a man feel wanted in the purest way. It says, I just like being close to you. You bring me comfort. Here's what most women don't realize. Men equate physical affection with emotional connection. When you touch him gently, when you reach for his hand without thinking, when you kiss his forehead while he's focused on something, you're filling his emotional tank in a way that surpasses any conversation. It grounds him. It reminds him that he's loved not for what he does, but for who he is. And the beauty of this is its simplicity. You don't need grand gestures. You don't need to plan it. Just make it a habit to touch him softly throughout the day, in the kitchen, on the couch, in bed, before sleep. Those moments of gentle, non-demanding touch create an undercurrent of intimacy that holds everything together. The reason this matters more than saying I love you is because words can be said without feeling, But touch, genuine affectionate touch, it can't be faked. It reveals how you truly feel. And when a man feels that consistent warmth from you, that steady current of affection, he feels secure, he feels chosen, he feels home. Number 5, trust him to handle things without micromanaging. There's a specific kind of respect that men crave, and most women accidentally violate it every single day. It's the respect of being trusted to handle tasks, problems, and responsibilities without constant supervision or correction. When you ask him to do something and then hover, redirect, or redo it your way, you're sending a message. And that message is, I don't trust your competence. Men need to feel capable. It's core to their identity. And when you micromanage how he loads the dishwasher, drives to the destination, or handles a situation with his family, you're chipping away at that sense of capability. You might think you're being helpful. You might think you're just offering a better way. But what he hears is, you're not doing it right. You're not good enough. Here's the reality. His way might be different from your way. It might not be how you would do it. But unless it's causing actual harm, does it really matter? When you let him handle things his way, even if it's not your preferred method, you're showing him a deep level of trust. You're saying, I believe in your ability to figure this out. And here's what happens when you stop micromanaging. He steps up more. He takes on more responsibility. He feels more confident in the relationship because he's not constantly being corrected like a child. The irony is that the more you try to control how things get done, the less he wants to do them. But the more you trust his process, the more he rises to the occasion. So what's the move here? Delegate and detach. If you ask him to handle something, let him handle it. Don't watch over his shoulder. Don't give him a step-by-step manual unless he asks. Just trust that he's capable. And if the outcome isn't perfect, don't criticize. Thank him for taking care of it. That gratitude and trust will motivate him far more than any criticism ever could. When a man feels trusted by his woman, he feels respected. And respect for men is the foundation of love. Number 6, support his friendships and his need for male connection. Here's something that separates emotionally intelligent women from everyone else. They understand that a man's friendships, his time with his guys, isn't competition. It's necessity. Men need their male friendships to stay balanced, to decompress, to connect in a way that's different from romantic connect. And when you support that, when you encourage him to maintain those bonds without guilt or resentment, you become irreplaceable. A lot of women make the mistake of viewing his friends as a threat. They feel like time with his buddies is time away from the relationship, so they start creating friction. They make comments. They schedule things that conflict. They subtly make him feel guilty for wanting that time. And all of that, it builds resentment. Because now he feels like he has to choose between his friendships and his relationship. And that's a lose-lose situation. But here's what changes when you actively support his friendships. He feels freedom within the relationship. He doesn't feel trapped or controlled. And that freedom, ironically, makes him more devoted to you. Because you're not the woman who took his life away. You're the woman who enhances his life while letting him stay fully himself. Men bond with other men differently than they connect with women. They need that space to be competitive, to joke around, to not filter everything they say. That's where they recharge their masculine energy. And when they come back from that time, they come back more present, more energized, more capable of showing up for you. So what's the fix? Encourage him to see his friends. Don't just tolerate it, actively support it. Say things like, you should call the guys and plan something. I know you've been wanting to catch up. When he comes home from a night out, ask him about it with genuine interest. Show him that you value his friendships because you value his happiness. When you do this, you're not just being the cool girlfriend. You're being the woman who understands men. And that understanding creates a bond that words like I love you could never touch. Number 7, let him solve problems instead of just venting. Men are fixers. It's how they're wired. When someone they care about has a problem, their instinct is to solve it, to provide a solution, to take action. And when you bring him a problem and actually let him solve it, when you receive his help with gratitude instead of dismissing it, you're giving him a gift. You're letting him feel useful, needed, like he adds value to your life in a tangible way. Here's where a lot of women trip up. They want to vent, they want to process emotions out loud without looking for solutions, and that's completely valid. But when you bring that energy to a man without context, it creates frustration on both sides. He's offering solutions. You're saying you don't want solutions. He feels helpless. You feel unheard. It's a communication breakdown that happens in almost every relationship. But here's the shift that changes everything. When you have a genuine problem, something he can actually help with, bring it to him. Ask for his perspective. Let him offer solutions. And then, and this is crucial, implement one of his suggestions and let him know it worked. That feedback loop, it makes him feel like a hero, like his contribution mattered, like he made your life better. Men need to feel like they're adding value. It's core to how they experience love. When you let him solve problems for you, when you trust his judgment enough to act on his advice, you're feeding that need in the most profound way. And the result? He feels more bonded to you, more invested, because he's not just along for the ride, he's actively improving your life. Now, this doesn't mean you can't vent, it just means you need to frame it. If you need to process emotions, say that up front. Hey, I just need to vent for a minute. I'm not looking for solutions, I just need you to listen. That clarity helps him understand his role in the moment. But when you do have problems he can help with, let him receive his help with appreciation. Thank him for his perspective. Show him that his input matters. When a man feels useful in your life, he feels essential. And that feeling is more powerful than any I love you could ever say. Number 8, make him feel desired, not just loved. Here's a distinction most women miss. Love is emotional, desire is physical and primal. And while men want to feel loved, what they crave on a visceral level is feeling desired, wanted. Like you can't keep your hands off them. Like you're attracted to them, not just fond of them. And when you make a man feel desired, you tap into something that goes beyond words. You create a magnetic pull that keeps him coming back. Desire isn't just about physical intimacy, though that's part of it. It's about the way you look at him, the way you touch him, the way you initiate, the way you make it clear that you want him, specifically him, and that wanting isn't conditional on what he does for you, it's just because you're drawn to him. A lot of women, especially in long-term relationships, stop expressing desire. They get comfortable. They stop flirting. They stop initiating. They assume he knows they're attracted to him. But men need to feel that attraction actively. They need the reassurance that you still want them the way you did in the beginning. When that desire fades or goes unspoken, they start to feel more like a roommate than a lover. So how do you make him feel desired? It's in the small moments. The way you look at him when he walks out of the shower. The way you pull him close when you're alone. The way you whisper something flirty when you're out in public. The way you initiate touch, not just receive it. All of these things communicate, I want you. You turn me on. You're not just my partner. You're someone I'm actively attracted to. And here's why this matters more than saying I love you. Because love can become routine, comfortable, expected. But desire, that stays electric. It keeps the polarity alive. It reminds him that you chose him not out of obligation or comfort, but because something about him draws you in. That feeling is irreplaceable. When you make a man feel desired, you're not just maintaining attraction, you're feeding his masculine core. And a man who feels desired by his woman will move heaven and earth to keep that feeling alive. Number 9, defend him when he's not in the room. Loyalty is everything to a man. And one of the most powerful ways you show loyalty isn't what you do when he's standing next to you. It's what you do when he's not around. When someone criticizes him, makes a joke at his expense, or questions his choices, and you step in to defend him, that loyalty creates a bond that words could never establish. Men need to know that you're on their team, that you have their back even when it's not convenient, even when it might be easier to stay silent or laugh along. When you defend him in his absence, you're showing him that your respect and love aren't performative, they're real. And that creates a level of trust and devotion that runs deep. Here's what a lot of women don't realize. Men talk to their friends. And when you defend him to his family, to your friends, to anyone who speaks negatively about him, he hears about it or he feels it. And that knowledge that his woman stood up for him when he wasn't there, it creates an unshakable bond. It tells him she's not just with me when it's easy, she's with me through everything. This doesn't mean you can't have private conversations about issues in the relationship. It doesn't mean you can't be honest with trusted people when you need advice. But there's a difference between seeking support and allowing someone to disrespect your partner unchecked. When you draw that line, when you make it clear that speaking negatively about him isn't okay, you're showing a depth of loyalty that most people never experience. And here's the beautiful part. When a man knows you defend him, when he knows you protect his reputation and honor, even when he's not around, he does the same for you. Loyalty breeds loyalty. Respect breeds respect. And that mutual protection creates a fortress around your relationship that external forces can't penetrate. So the next time someone makes a comment about him, don't laugh along. Don't stay silent. Speak up. Defend his character. Protect what you've built together. Because that loyalty, that's the kind of love that lasts. Number 10, remember the small things that matter to him. Grand gestures are nice. Big declarations of love have their place. But what really makes a man feel seen, truly seen, is when you remember the small things. His favorite snack, the song that reminds him of his childhood, the way he likes his coffee, the story he told you once about something that mattered to him. When you remember these details and act on them, you're showing him that you pay attention, that he's not just present in your life, he's prioritized in your mind. Most people move through life feeling invisible, unnoticed, like their preferences and quirks don't matter. But when you remember the small things about him, when you show up with his favorite drink without being asked, when you reference something he mentioned weeks ago, you're sending a powerful message. I see you. I listen to you. You matter enough for me to hold space for the little things that make you. This is where women have an incredible advantage. You're naturally attuned to details. You notice things. So use that gift intentionally. Pay attention to what lights him up, what brings him comfort, what makes him smile. And then, without making it a big production, incorporate those things into your daily life with him. The reason this matters more than saying I love you is because actions prove what words only claim. Anyone can say they love someone. But remembering his favorite candy bar and surprising him with it on a random Tuesday, that's love in action. That's showing him through tangible proof that he occupies real space in your thoughts and heart. When a man feels seen in this way, when he realizes that you're paying attention to the details of who he is, he feels valued in a way that transcends language. And that feeling is what turns attraction into devotion. Number 11, apologize sincerely when you're wrong. Pride kills more relationships than almost anything else. And one of the most powerful things you can do in a relationship is swallow your pride and offer a genuine apology when you've messed up. Not a defensive apology. Not an I'm sorry but apology. A real, accountable, humble acknowledgement that you were wrong and that you're committed to doing better. Men respect accountability. They respect a woman who can own her mistakes without deflecting or making excuses. When you apologize sincerely, you're showing emotional maturity. You're showing that the relationship matters more than being right. And that humility creates safety. It tells him we can work through things. We can be honest with each other. We're not going to get stuck in endless blame cycles. Here's where a lot of women struggle. They apologize, but they cushion it with justifications. I'm sorry I snapped at you, you weren't listening. I'm sorry I did that, but I was stressed. Those aren't real apologies, they're deflections. And men feel that. It creates resentment because the accountability isn't genuine. But when you can look him in the eye and say, I was wrong, I shouldn't have said that, I'm sorry, without any conditions or justifications, it disarms conflict. It opens the door to resolution. It shows him that you're more interested in repair than in protecting your ego. And that willingness to be vulnerable, to admit fault, it creates intimacy. So here's what you need to remember. These 12 things, they're not tricks. They're not manipulation tactics. They're authentic expressions of love that speak directly to how men experience connection. When you respect his decisions, give him space, celebrate his wins, touch him gently, trust his capability, support his friendships, let him solve problems, make him feel desired, defend him in his absence, remember the small things, apologize sincerely, and choose him daily, you're not just saying you love him. You're proving it in ways that actually register in his heart. The most powerful relationships aren't built on words. They're built on consistent action, on showing up, on creating a pattern of behavior that makes him feel valued, respected, and absolutely certain that you're his person. So as you move forward from this video, don't just say, I love you more. Do these 12 things more. Watch how he responds. Watch how the dynamic shifts. Watch how he starts showing up differently because he feels genuinely appreciated in ways that matter to him. You don't need to be perfect to all of these. You just need to be intentional. Start with 1 or 2. Practice them consistently. Let him feel the difference. And remember, love that's felt is always more powerful than love that's just spoken. So go out there and show him what